For millennia, humanity has been captivated by tales of structures so grand, so ambitious, they were deemed wonders of the world. These 7 marvels of the ancient world, scattered across the Mediterranean and Middle East, were testaments to human ingenuity, artistry, and power. They were beacons of their civilizations, drawing travelers from far and wide to gaze upon their splendor. Yet time, in its relentless march, has claimed almost all of them. Of these legendary 7, only one remains, a silent giant in the sands of Egypt, the Great Pyramid of Giza. The others have crumbled into dust, their forms lost to earthquakes, fires, and the slow decay of ages, leaving us with only fragmented descriptions from ancient texts and the lingering echoes of their greatness. But what if we could peel back the layers of time? What if we could see these lost monuments not as ruins, but as they stood in their prime? Today, we embark on an extraordinary journey, guided by a new kind of creative force. We are using the power of artificial intelligence to breathe life back into these long-lost treasures. AI has taken the historical accounts, the archaeological clues, and the artistic descriptions, and through a remarkable image generator known as Midjourney, it has reconstructed these wonders. It has rendered them in stunning, photorealistic detail, allowing us to witness them as if we were standing before them thousands of years ago. This is more than just an artistic exercise, it is a bridge to our collective past. We are about to step through a digital doorway into a world that has, until now, existed only in our imaginations. We will see the gleaming finish of the pyramids, stand in the shadow of colossal statues, and watch a legendary lighthouse cast its beam across the sea once more. Prepare to be transported, to witness the fusion of ancient ambition and modern technology as we rediscover the 7 wonders of the ancient world, brought back to life by the incredible potential of AI. Our journey begins with the sole survivor, the last ancient wonder still gracing our planet, the Great Pyramid of Giza. For 4,500 years it has stood on its plateau, a mountain of stone built with a precision that continues to baffle engineers today. Commissioned by the pharaoh Khufu, it was the tallest man-made structure in the world for nearly 4 millennia. Its construction involved moving millions of massive stone blocks, a logistical feat of breathtaking scale. But the pyramid we see today, with its rough stepped appearance, is a shadow of its former self. It was once encased in a sheath of highly polished white Tura limestone, its surface smooth and brilliantly reflective. This gleaming casing would have caught the desert sun, making the pyramid shine like a colossal jewel, a beacon visible for miles around. Tragically, following a powerful earthquake in the 14th century which loosened many of the casing stones, they were systematically stripped away to build mosques and fortresses in nearby Cairo. Now, thanks to artificial intelligence, we can restore that lost glory. The AI has meticulously reconstructed this outer layer, cladding the pyramid once more in its brilliant white mantle. We can now see it as the ancient Egyptians did, not a weathered monument, but a pristine, awe-inspiring structure. Its pointed capstone, perhaps gilded in gold, piercing the clear blue sky. We travel now to the sacred heart of ancient Greece, to Olympia, the site of the original Olympic Games. Here, within a magnificent temple, sat a wonder that embodied divine majesty, the statue of Zeus. This was no ordinary sculpture. It was a colossal, 40-foot-tall depiction of the king of the gods, seated upon an ornate cedarwood throne. The sculptor Phidias crafted the god's flesh from gleaming ivory plates and his robes and ornaments from shimmering gold. In his right hand, Zeus held a small statue of Nike, the goddess of victory, and in his left, a scepter topped with an eagle. The sheer presence of the work was said to inspire profound awe and reverence in all who beheld it. For over 800 years, it was the centerpiece of the most important religious festival in Greece. Pilgrims journeyed to look upon the face of their god, a face so lifelike and powerful, it was said Phidias had climbed Olympus itself for inspiration, but its fate was tied to the decline of the old pagan ways. In the 4th century AD, the statue was moved from its temple in Olympia to the city of Constantinople. There, it was eventually lost, most likely destroyed in a great fire that swept through the palace where it was housed in 475 AD. Now, AI allows us to enter that long-vanished temple and witness its centerpiece, restoring the intricate details of the ivory, the glint of the gold, and the overwhelming scale of a god made manifest on earth. We sail to the island of Rhodes, where at the entrance to its harbor stood one of the most audacious feats of ancient engineering, the Colossus. This was a gigantic bronze statue of the sun god Helios, built to celebrate the Rhodians' successful defense against an invasion. Standing over 100 feet tall, it was roughly the same height as the modern Statue of Liberty. It was constructed from bronze plates fixed to an iron framework, a hollow giant that watched over all ships entering the city. For decades, it was a symbol of Rhodian unity and economic power, a true marvel of metallurgy and construction that left visitors speechless. Its reign over the harbor, however, was tragically brief. Just 54 years after its completion, a devastating earthquake in 226 BC snapped the statue at its knees, sending the bronze titan crashing to the ground. For centuries, its massive fragments lay where they fell, a tourist attraction in their own right, so large that few men could wrap their arms around a single thumb. Eventually, the remains were sold for scrap metal. Using historical accounts, AI has now rebuilt the Colossus, placing it not straddling the harbor, a common misconception, but standing proudly on a pedestal at the harbor's entrance, just as modern scholarship suggests. We can now see the sun glinting off its bronze skin, a true guardian of the ancient port. Our voyage takes us to the coast of modern-day Turkey, to the ancient city of Ephesus. Here stood a temple so grand, so lavishly decorated, that it was known throughout the world, the Temple of Artemis. Dedicated to the Greek goddess of the hunt, this structure was not built once but was destroyed and rebuilt over centuries, each time more magnificent than the last. The version that became a wonder was supported by over 120 massive marble columns, each standing 60 feet high. It was, a forest of stone, adorned with fine sculptures and artworks, a sprawling complex that served as both a place of worship and a marketplace. Its history is one of tragic repetition. It was famously burned down by a man named Herostratus, who sought eternal fame for his act of arson. Rebuilt by Alexander the Great, it stood for several more centuries before being destroyed again by a Gothic invasion, and finally, dismantled by a Christian mob in the 5th century. Today, all that remains of this architectural masterpiece is a single, solitary column standing forlornly in a marshy field, a poignant reminder of what was lost. The AI, however, has raised the temple from its ruins. It has re-erected the forest of columns, rebuilt the ornate roof, and lets us walk through the hallowed halls of a sanctuary that was once the pride of Asia. On the island of Pharos, in the harbor of Alexandria, Egypt, stood a structure that was not a monument to a god or a king, but a marvel of practical innovation, the Lighthouse of Alexandria. For centuries, it was one of the tallest man-made structures on Earth, soaring to a height of nearly 400 feet. It was a technological masterpiece, built in 3 distinct tiers, a square base, an octagonal middle section, and a cylindrical top. At its apex, a massive mirror, said to be made of polished bronze, reflected sunlight during the day and the light of a great bonfire at night, its beam reportedly visible from up to 35 miles out at sea, guiding ships safely into the bustling port. It was far more than a simple lighthouse. It was a symbol of Alexandria itself, a city of learning and commerce. It stood watch over the harbor for over 1,500 years, a remarkably long life for any ancient structure. But it could not withstand the Earth's tremors forever. A series of powerful earthquakes between the 10th and 14th centuries gradually chipped away at its integrity, causing immense damage until finally, the last of its remnants tumbled into the sea. Now, AI has reignited its flame. We can see the lighthouse in its full, 3-tiered glory, its great light once again cutting through the darkness to guide sailors home. We journey now to Halicarnassus in modern-day Turkey to see a tomb so magnificent that it gave us the very word for an elaborate burial structure mausoleum. This wonder was built for Mausolus, a satrap, or governor, in the Persian Empire, and was commissioned by his grieving wife and sister, Artemisia II. She spared no expense, hiring the most renowned Greek architects and sculptors of the day to create a fitting final resting place. The result was a stunning fusion of architectural styles, Lycian, Greek, and Egyptian. A 148-foot-tall structure adorned with intricate sculptural reliefs, depicting epic battles and mythological scenes. The building was a visual feast, crowned with a stepped pyramid roof topped by a sculpture of a 4-horse chariot. For 16 centuries it stood, a testament to a ruler's power and a wife's devotion. But like so many other wonders, its downfall came from the shifting earth. A series of earthquakes over several hundred years brought the magnificent tomb to ruin. In the 15th century, the Knights of St. John used its stones to fortify their castle nearby, and many of the fine sculptures were incorporated into its walls. With AI, we can reassemble this architectural marvel, appreciating the blend of styles and the incredible artistry that made a tomb one of the wonders of the ancient world. Our final wonder is the most enigmatic of all, the Hanging Gardens of Babylon. It is a place shrouded in legend, a whisper on the winds of history. The story tells of a verdant, multi-tiered oasis of trees, shrubs, and vines built in the heart of the arid Mesopotamian plain. It was said to be an engineering marvel, with complex machinery to pump water from the Euphrates River up to the highest terraces, creating a man-made mountain of lush greenery. Legend attributes its creation to King Nebuchadnezzar II, who supposedly built it to comfort his homesick wife, who longed for the green hills of her native Media. Yet despite the vivid descriptions, the Hanging Gardens are the only wonder for which no definitive archaeological evidence has ever been found. No Babylonian texts mention them, leading some historians to believe they may be a poetic invention, a romanticized tale that grew over time. If they did exist, they would have likely been destroyed sometime after the 1st century BC, when the city of Babylon itself fell into ruin. The AI's recreation is therefore the most speculative, a beautiful interpretation of pure legend. It allows us to wander through this mythical paradise, to see the cascading waterfalls and exotic plants, and to experience the magic of a story that has captivated humanity for thousands of years, whether real or imagined. As our journey through time concludes, we are left with these powerful, digitally resurrected visions. From the gleaming peak of the Great Pyramid to the mythical greenery of Babylon's gardens, we have witnessed the pinnacle of ancient ambition through the lens of modern innovation. These AI-generated images do more than just satisfy our curiosity. They forge a deeper, more tangible connection to the people who dreamed, designed, and built these wonders. They remind us that the human drive to create, to build something lasting and magnificent, is a timeless impulse that connects our world to theirs across the vast expanse of centuries. This exploration of history, culture, and technology is at the heart of what we do. If you've been inspired by this glimpse into the past, we encourage you to continue your discovery by visiting GreekReporter.com. There, you'll find a wealth of daily news and fascinating stories from Greece and the wider world, keeping you connected to both ancient heritage and current events. The past is always speaking to us, and there are always new stories to uncover and share with the world. We also invite you to become part of the conversation. If you have a story to share or an update for our team, please don't hesitate to contact our newsroom. To stay informed with the latest updates, you can follow us on Google News and subscribe to our daily email newsletter. Thank you for joining us on this incredible journey. The wonders of the past may be gone, but their stories, now more vivid than ever, will continue to inspire for generations to come.